Hey friends, welcome back to another video. In today's video, I'm going to be doing a full flip through of my previous bullet journal. This is the bullet journal I used from May 2019 through to December 2019, and so many of you have been requesting this video. Literally every video I post, I feel like someone is asking me when I'm going to do a flip through. So here it is. I wanted to wait until December was over, until I had filled in all of the pages. So since we're now into January, I thought it was more than time to do a full flip through and show you all of the pages. So this notebook is the Scribbles That Matter B5 size Pro notebook. This was their second paper type, I believe, the coated 100 GSM. I have a full review of this notebook, so I'll link it in the card for you if you're interested. So I'm just starting by adding December 2019 here for the date the journal ended. I left that open even though I was hoping it would last me to December so I could start a new notebook for 2020, but I wasn't exactly sure. You never really know if you're going to need a bunch of extra pages for various projects, or maybe you're going to be able to fit in that one extra month. So just taking a second to fill that in now. These are all of the spreads I set up when I did my 2019 bullet journal setup video in May. So I will link that video for you if you're interested in watching it, if you want to see more about these specific spreads. Just adding December to this page as well, May to December 2019. My future log, one of my favorite spreads of all time, though I'm glad I didn't have to write out all of the numbers in my 2020 setup. The grid spacing spread I get so many questions about. I was inspired by Amanda Rach Lee to start doing this, and I recently posted on my Instagram a in-depth explanation of how I use it. So go follow me on Instagram, go check it out if you want more details. I also get a lot of questions about my period tracker. So this is a completed period tracker for the months I use this bullet journal. The bigger black dots are the days I'm on my period. The open gold circles are the days I'm ovulating. And then I use gold X's to track symptoms that I'm interested in keeping track of. So you can adjust that to fit your life, of course, but that's how I use it for anyone who has been asking me or curious. These are all my little video tabs. I have a page with a bunch of video tabs for video ideas I ended up delaying or putting off. So I have them here ready so that I can put them into my current bullet journal if I decide to pick up those ideas again. I also have a page of these tabs with videos that I've actually completed. Because I like to try to reuse these tabs, I'm gonna hold on to these because I should be able to cross them out and write another title on them. I try to reuse them as many times as I can before I recycle them. So here we go, getting into the months. Starting with May, we have the Game of Thrones theme. This one was one of my most disappointing themes of the year, not with how it turned out, because I actually love how it turned out, but because I started off setting up these threads so excited for the final season of Game of Thrones, and then by the end of the month, I was so disappointed and upset with how the last season went that I did not want to be using a Game of Thrones theme anymore. It was like my own personal hell of constant reminders of how upset I was about the last season of the show. So that was a fun time. We have the Myers-Briggs spread that I set up in its own dedicated video, so that video will be linked for you in the description box. Moving on to June, this was one of my favorite themes of 2019, I think. It's so simple and calming to me, this sort of sage green and the simple line art plant drawings. It sort of fits my brand, I guess. But I really love this theme, and a lot of you recreated this cover page and have recreated it for different months and with different color schemes, which is really fun for me. Also a reminder, if you recreate any of my spreads, I would love to see them. Please tag me on Instagram. I'm going to start doing monthly reaction videos to recreations because y'all liked the one I did in Plantmas so much, and it's really fun for me to be able to talk about them a little bit more instead of just quickly flashing them on the screen in a Plan With Me video. At the end of this month, I had a brain dump page, which I continued to use for a few months. I also had my 100 theme ideas spread, which I did its own dedicated video on as well, so I'll link that too. Moving on to July, which was my peach theme. This one was so fun and quirky. I really enjoyed it. It had a much more cartoony, playful vibe to it that my spreads don't typically have, I would say, but it was a really fun one for the summertime. And I especially liked filling out this mood tracker. I do love my graph trackers, but sometimes doing a more creative, colorful mood tracker can just be a fun way to switch things up. By the way, if you haven't noticed, every single weekly in this bullet journal is either the 2-page or the Dutch door version of my rolling weekly spread, which I talk about ad nauseum. If you don't know about the rolling weekly spread and you would like to, check out the video I made on it. It is very detailed and I talk all about the productivity of the spread, why I use it, how you set it up, what it's good for, all that good stuff. Then we have my summer playlist spread, which was just a fun little spread to feature some of the songs that I had been playing on repeat through the summertime. And then we get to August, which was my wave theme. This one was a lot of fun to do. I really felt like this month taught me a lot about watercolors. I feel as though my skills with watercolors really improved through creating these paintings and trying to paint water, which is a lot harder than I would have thought initially. I also got really busy in August and I ended up having some pretty basic plain weeklies, which is something that I mention all the time. If I get really busy and I don't have time to make my weekly really beautiful or really fit into my theme, I don't worry about it. I just set up my weekly very basic and use it because my bullet journal is primarily a productivity tool. If I don't have time to make it pretty, I don't have time to make it pretty. Obviously, that's something I like to do. It's something that's great for my mental health. I find it very calming and almost meditative. But if I don't have time, the most important thing is that I have my weekly set up so that I know what I'm doing. I have my schedule, I have my deadlines, all of the things I need to keep track of. That is always my number one. I hit 10,000 followers on Instagram and I was super excited about it, so I did a little giveaway for an Archer and Olive notebook. Then we get into September, where I did an Area 51 theme. As much as it broke my hand, I loved doing the pointillism on this cover page. September was a super busy month for me. Actually, all of the fall for 2019 was super busy, so these weeklies are very pared back and simple. Here we've come to my natal chart spread that I did. I made a little video setting this up, talking a little bit about astrology and about my chart specifically. I also have this spread that I set up, which is sort of a self-love, self-care, mental health sort of spread with some journaling prompts. Then we get into October, which is one of my favorite themes of the year as well. I just love doing these scrapbooky, slightly spooky themes. They're so fun for me. They're so outside of my normal comfort zone, my normal style. I bought a wax seal stamp, which I had a lot of fun playing with. I managed to keep up with a theme in October for every single weekly, which honestly shocks me because October was the second busiest month of the year for me after December. My sister got married in October and I was her matron of honor. There was basically a full week that I was in a different province because I had to travel for her wedding, help her get set up. So I'm pretty shocked that I actually made every single weekly fit the theme, but proud of myself. Then we go into November and I really pared it back for November with my hygge theme. This was a direct result of how busy I was in October. I was really stressed through October and I just wanted a nice, relaxing, easy to keep up with theme that would encourage me to relax a little, slow down a little, and this theme did that for me. I hit 40,000 subscribers on YouTube and I got really excited and created this little spread to post a photo of on Instagram to say thank you. We've now hit 50,000, which I mentioned in my last video, and I'm still just very taken aback by that. Thank you all so much. I appreciate you so much. Let's move on to December. The final month in this bullet journal. This one was a really fun one for me. Another one where I really immersed myself in watercolors and played around. I love the cozy, snowy nighttime feel of these spreads, and a lot of you did recreations, so I guess a lot of you liked it too. Of course, December was the busiest month of the year for me in 2019 with Plantmas. I did 13 videos in a row every single day, along with my regular videos on either end. I launched my shop. There were the holidays and leaving home for about a week to visit my parents. So many things were happening in December. It was a ridiculous month. I am still recovering. So week 3 and week 4 in my bullet journal are not cute. They were just functional to get me through posting videos every single day, launching my shop, everything that I was trying to do at once. It was hectic, let's say that. Next, I have my 2019 in review and 2019 snapshot spread. This is the one I set up in my live stream with my patrons that I mentioned in Wednesday's video, which was my 2020 intentions, predictions, and goals spread. Next is my themes of 2019 spread. I'm not going to linger on it though, because I have a full video coming up on this, so hang tight for that. Next is my bullet journal migration spread. Then I have my ABCs of Bujo spread, which I set up in a video months and months ago. I'll link it if you want to see that. Then I have my website redesign page where I was just brainstorming ideas. I talk about this in my first studio vlog where I show the process of redesigning my website, which I will link for you. Then I have a page where I was just testing out a couple different types of greens. This was for my June theme. I also was testing out my stickers as I was developing them. So there's a bunch of numbers stickers here and my monthly stickers. Then we have the pen test, which I did in the review of this notebook to show you how a bunch of different pens and materials work on this paper. At the back here, I scanned and printed a mini version of my ideal day, which I taped in so I could fold it out and have it beside me as I was working on my weekly spread. So that's it. That is my bullet journal from May to December 2019, full of messy, undone spreads, full of pieces of art that I spent hours making, full of my blood, sweat, and tears, and a whole lot of stress and sleepless nights. It's still a little scary to open up my bullet journal and show you my whole life, basically, represented on paper. So I hope you enjoyed it. I know so many of you wanted to see this. I hope it can serve as a reminder that it's totally fine to pare back or not do a lot of artistic or pretty things in your bullet journal if you're busy or you're stressed or you don't want to. Your bullet journal is yours. It should shift and flow with your life. And sometimes that means getting a lot more simple so that you can focus on other things. Before I go, I want to take a quick second to thank my patrons for their support. My patrons are the best in the entire world. Our squad is awesome. Extra special thanks to our newest patrons, Marley, Lavina, Kathy, Carolina, and Anita. We're so excited to have you. If you at home want to join the squad, check out the link in the card or in the description box down below. We would love to meet you and hang out. And I will see all of you very soon in my next video. Bye, friends.